1815. Napoleon was defeated, but his greatest legacy was not his army it was an idea. The Congress of Vienna divided Italy into small states once again. The old order had returned. Austria ruled the north, the Papal States controlled the center, and the Bourbons governed the south. Italy remained divided. But a new dream had begun to spread across the peninsula, one united Italy. The Congress of Vienna had divided Italy once again, but the idea of freedom could no longer be stopped. Secret societies began to emerge across the peninsula. These secret groups, known as the Carbonari, fought against foreign rule and kept alive the dream of a united Italy. Austria crushed even the smallest uprisings. Arrests, exile, and executions failed to stop the growing nationalist movement. Every failed rebellion created new heroes, and the dream of one Italy grew stronger in the hearts of the people. In 1831, a young visionary emerged. His name was Giuseppe Mazzini. He believed Italy should not only unite, but become a free nation. Mazzini founded the Young Italy movement. Its mission was to unite the people under a single flag. His ideas quickly spread across the peninsula. Young Italians embraced the dream of a united Italy. A symbolic map of Italy, slowly glowing as city lights connect from north to south. Hopeful sunrise, cinematic masterpiece, ultra-realistic, 16:9. Mazzini's call soon sparked uprisings, but Italy was not yet strong enough to unite. The Austrian army crushed the revolts. Hundreds of revolutionaries were killed or imprisoned. Mazzini was forced into exile, but exile did not end his struggle. Even far from Italy, his writings continued to inspire the nation. The dream of unity had become impossible to erase. In 1848, Europe erupted once again. From Paris to Vienna, Berlin to Milan, revolution swept across the continent. The people of Milan rose against the Austrian army. 5 days of street fighting turned the world's attention toward Italy. King Charles Albert of Sardinia made a historic decision. By declaring war on Austria, he took the first major step toward Italian unification. For the first time, thousands of volunteers from different Italian states marched side by side. A nation was beginning to take shape. In the summer of 1848, the Sardinian army confronted Austria at Custassa. Italy's future would be decided on this battlefield. Field Marshal Radetzky expertly commanded the Austrian army. The Italian forces suffered a devastating defeat. King Charles Albert was forced to retreat. The dream of unification had been postponed once again. But the struggle was far from over. Defeat did not break the Italian spirit. Soon, two new leaders would change history, Cavour and Garibaldi. In 1849, the Battle of Novara was lost. Italy's dream of unification suffered another devastating blow. After the defeat, King Charles Albert abdicated. His son, Victor Emmanuel II, became the new king. The new king refused to surrender. The Kingdom of Sardinia became the strongest hope for a united Italy. At that moment, an extraordinary statesman stepped onto the stage. Camillo Cavour was preparing the strategy that would change Italy's destiny. In 1852, Camillo Cavour became Prime Minister of Sardinia. He believed Italy could be united not only through war, but through smart diplomacy. He strengthened his kingdom first. Railways expanded, factories were built, and Sardinia quickly became a modern, European state. Cavour began winning the support of Europe's great powers against Austria. The battle would now be fought through diplomacy as well. Soon, a secret meeting with Emperor Napoleon III of France would take place. That agreement would change Italy's destiny forever. In 1858, Cavour secretly met Emperor Napoleon III in the town of Plummeters. Their meeting would change the future of Europe. Under the agreement, France would support Sardinia if Austria attacked. In return, Nice and Savoy would be ceded to France. Cavour had a clear objective: provoke Austria into striking first, forcing France into the war. The plan worked. Austria delivered an ultimatum to Sardinia. Europe stood on the brink of another war. In the spring of 1859, war began. French and Sardinian forces advanced together against Austria. At the Battle of Magenta, Austria suffered a major defeat. The gates of Lombardy were finally opened. Then came the Battle of Solferino. Tens of thousands of soldiers clashed in one of Europe's bloodiest battles. The horrors of Solferino changed more than the course of war. They inspired the creation of the Red Cross years later. Despite the victories, an unexpected turn followed. Napoleon III signed the Armistice of Villafranca with Austria. The decision enraged Cavour, believing Italy's chance for unity had been lost. He resigned as prime minister. But the people thought differently. Referendums in Tuscany, Parma, Modena, and Rumonia overwhelmingly supported joining the Kingdom of Sardinia. Italy was uniting not only through war, but through the will of its people. Yet the South remained a world apart. In 1860, Giuseppe Garibaldi made a bold decision. With around 1,000 volunteers, he sailed to liberate Sicily. Garibaldi and his red shirts landed at Marsala. They were few in number, but their determination was immense. At the Battle of Calatafimi, Garibaldi's volunteers forced the Bourbon army to retreat. The victory inspired Italians across the peninsula. The people of Sicily welcomed Garibaldi as a liberator. A united Italy was no longer just a dream, it was becoming reality. After Sicily, Garibaldi did not stop. He crossed the Strait of Messina with his volunteer army and reached mainland Italy. The Bourbon government rapidly collapsed. Garibaldi entered Naples with little resistance. King Francis II left the capital. Bourbon rule in southern Italy was nearing its end. Most of Italy was now united, but the most important decision about the nation's future was yet to be made. On October 26, 1860, Garibaldi and King Victor Emmanuel II met near Tino in one of history's most symbolic encounters. Garibaldi did not claim the conquered lands for himself. Instead, he handed them over to the future Kingdom of Italy. Despite becoming a national hero, Garibaldi sought no power or title. He quietly returned to private life. Italy was now close to unification, but Venice and Rome still remained outside the new kingdom. On March 17, 1861, the historic moment arrived. Parliament officially proclaimed the Kingdom of Italy. Victor Emmanuel II became the first king of a united Italy. Centuries of division were finally coming to an end. Yet unification was still incomplete. Venice remained under Austrian rule, while Rome was controlled by the Papal States. The Kingdom of Italy had been born, but two great objectives still remained: Venice and Rome. In 1866, Europe was once again at war. Prussia confronted Austria, and Italy joined Prussia in hopes of reclaiming Venice. The Italian army was defeated once again at Custoza. It seemed the dream of Venice had slipped away. But Prussia changed the course of the war. At Königgrätz, Austria suffered a crushing defeat and was forced to seek peace. After the peace agreement, Austria ceded Venice to Italy. Only one goal remained: Rome. In 1870, war broke out between France and Prussia. France was forced to withdraw the troops protecting Rome. Italy seized the opportunity. The royal army marched toward Rome. On September 20th, 1870, the walls at Porta Pia were breached. After brief fighting, Rome came under Italian control. After centuries of division, Italy was finally complete. Rome had become the heart of a united nation. In 1871, Rome was officially declared the capital of the Kingdom of Italy. The long-awaited unification was finally complete. Not everyone accepted the new reality. Pope Pius IX refused to recognize the Kingdom of Italy and withdrew into the Vatican. Political unity had been achieved, yet deep economic and social divisions between northern and southern Italy still remained. Italy was finally one nation, but the journey toward becoming a strong and united country had only just begun. Italy's unification changed more than the peninsula. A new European power had emerged. Italy's success also accelerated Germany's path to unification. Europe had entered the age of nationalism. But the rise of new nations also brought rivalry. Industrialization, colonial competition, and militarization were pushing Europe toward a new era. Italy had finally united, but even greater storms awaited Europe. A new century would bring wars that would reshape the world. After centuries of division, Italy finally united beneath a single flag. Mazzini's vision, Cavour's diplomacy, Garibaldi's courage, and Victor Emmanuel's leadership changed the course of history. With Italy's unification, European rivalry entered a new era. The rising powers now turned their eyes toward the rich lands of Africa.